So, like, obviously I met my bird, like, in Thailand, like, 5 years ago. Over 5 years ago now. She was on a holiday with her mates, I was on a holiday with my mates. She's from fucking, literally just the edge of town there, Everton Brow. And mad coincidence, like, you know what I mean? But she used to, like, she didn't even, like, really know that, like, she knew I'd done the boss nights or something because, like, she had cousins who used to go or something like that, but nothing. She didn't really know that she didn't know that was me, actually, after I met her. I'd been out with her, like, a couple of times on the holiday, and she was like, is that you who does all that? I didn't even know, you know what I mean? So, like, got home and, like, obviously she got bang into all the music and that, and, like, she's dead supportive. She's my biggest critic and my biggest fan at the same time, but, like, in an honest way, do you know what I mean? Where, like, if there's a lyric, she'll go, don't think that's very, like, PG or, like, that. Don't think that's, like, I think
it's good to have someone around like that.
Yeah, but she'll say, she knows, you know what I mean? She likes me for me. She's not there to kiss me ass, do you know what I mean? Like, she'll just tell me straight, do you know what I mean? She'll go, it's alright, like, you know what I mean? Or whatever, do you know what I mean? Like, she'll be honest. So, like, she used to always say to me, like, when are you gonna like me a song then? When are you gonna like me a song then? And I'd always, like, this is before Kiev, before Madrid, before, you know, any of this, used to say this to me, and I'd go, second album, love, thinking, someone's gonna give me an album deal, you know what I mean? And I'd say, second album, girl, do it then, you know what I mean? And obviously signed a 2-album deal, and done my first album. It was like when it charted, we had like a little party and that, and she just looked at me somewhere during the night and went, you know what's coming now, don't you? And I was like, what? She was like, my song. And I was like, oh, fuck. But I'm a man of my word, so obviously it would have been like, it wouldn't have been me to, like, write a fucking Ed Sheeran love song, do you know what I mean? Where it's fucking, you know, oh God, your eyes, blah, 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 shit, you know what I mean? Like, oh, take me to a field of barley and fucking dance with me all night long, you know what I mean? Like, all that shit, it's just not like what relationships are. Do you know what I mean? If you've ever been in a relationship, there's fucking great times, and there's times where you bicker like fuck, do you know what I mean? And that's whether that's your mum and dad, you and your bed, your sister and her fella, whoever, you know what I mean? It's not fucking a box of roses the whole time, is it? You know what I mean? So I thought, what better way just to write a love song is to write a relatable love song about, like, the ups and downs in a relationship, but so, you know, so obviously I'm writing, like, you know, when you get the look off her and she's pulling that look and the fucking, you know what I mean? You get the look and you think, oh, I'm in trouble here, fucking hell. You start getting panicked because you think, oh, I'm in for it now for a couple of days or whatever. But then, you know, you give me the look, but fucking hell, look at that tea you've just cooked me there, love. And then, like, obviously, like, me bird's, like, quite flamboyant with like the way she dresses. She's a bit of a hippie, bit of a, like, a Stevie Nicks sort of vibe with how she dresses and that, you know what I mean? And I think it's dead impressive and dead bold, me, like, do you know what I mean? I think she looks dead cool, but fuck, she's got some terrible tattoos, do you know what I mean? So it's like the fucking ups and downs of it all. And obviously, like, yeah, just sorted it from the art. Spent a lot of time with me birds, particularly over lockdown, do you know what I mean? Which is obviously when I wrote the song, and like, we live together now since that, you know what I mean? Well, we lived together during the lockdown in her house, but, you know, since that, we're in our own house now and stuff like that, and, like, I'm really, really lucky to have her, do you know what I mean? Not only, like, as a bird, but, like, as a friend as well. She's a good girl, and, like, there's times where, fucking hell, things aren't very rosy, you know, for me personally, inside my own head. I do have problems sometimes, particularly when, you know, you see stuff online and that, you know what I mean? Over a couple of days, it can fucking, can really get to you behind the scenes, and obviously, you know, it's easy to say, oh, what are you worrying about? You're doing all this, just fucking ignore them. But it's, you know, when personal insults come on your way, it's not nice. And she, like, you know, whether I'm having a good day or a bad day, she is who she is, do you know what I mean? And, like, she's fucking brilliant with me, and she really, really helps me in more ways than one. And it's not just about that, you know what I mean? She's an amazing person, we have a laugh, fucking love each other to death, do you know what I mean? But it was fitting that she got a song, because she does deserve one, do you know what I mean? And I might be a soppy hard cunt saying this, do you know what I mean? But I mean it at the end of the day. I'm not I am who I am, and, you know, I wear my heart on my sleeve in every circumstance, and I'd never shy away from anything that I felt. But yeah, so, and to be fair to her, she's done me well, because that's been the best release from the album.
Yeah, I was looking at the streams today. Yeah,
since, like, obviously Days Unknown and stuff like that, and, like, were released a lot earlier, so they're like they're doing better. But out of everything that was released on the day, it's miles ahead of everything. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And you know, it's boss, and, like, the way the song turned out as well, I just think it's you know, it takes you on a bit of a journey, the song itself, and builds and builds and builds to that, like, sort of, to the end and that with the R's and all that. So just one of them songs now where I listen to and I just think that's a complete song, that, you know what I mean? It's like a complete love song, like, do you know what I mean? And like, I don't know, I'm just quite proud of it, to be honest with you, do you know what I mean? Like, not in an egotistical way or anything like that, just quite proud of, like, how it turned out and the vision I had for it. And, you know, just, I don't know, just when I listen to it now, I don't listen to myself very often, do you know what I mean? Very often at all. I might throw the album on every now and again just to go, does it still sound how it used to, you know, does it still do to me what it used to do, do you know what I mean? And but when I hear that song now, that's the one that makes me go, like, really stop and listen, do you know, like, in the house, if I'm doing, like, a bit of hoovering up and I put the album on, or cleaning up, and I'll find myself stopping and listening, like, not working through it when that song comes on. So that's how I think it's.
Do you reckon you'd write another, like, that loved song, so to speak?
You know, like, obviously you've got to be inspired by something like that, you know what I mean? At the time, obviously, like, I did promise that I'd write the song for it, but obviously we just started, like, sort of spending all of our hours together every day, and we didn't want to kill each other, do you know what I mean? So that was the sort of, like, realisation that I had something special, and that was what spurred me on to actually sit down and write the song. I always had the intent, but the inspiration was still there to actually make me go to the table, pick up the guitar and do it. Well, with Love Songs, the fella out The Cure, he's been happily married throughout his career to the same girl, and he's wrote loads of love songs that, like, tell stories about, like, you know, ups and downs in love, do you know what I mean? Like, affairs and this, that, the other. And when he was asked about it, he was like, no, like, it's not personal experience, it's like either something I've seen from afar or something I've put together, do you know what I mean? It's like, because, like, a love story that I've made up in my head. And I think, like, if I was to write a love story, it'd have to be, like, sort of a tale between two lovers that one of them wasn't me and me bird, do you know what I mean? It was like, don't know, almost like you've heard Romeo and Juliet by Dire Straits. Yeah, fucking banger. Something like that, you know what I mean? Where it's like, like, you know, almost like a West Side Story vibe where you're making up things about, you know, for all we know, Romeo and Juliet might have been two people that, you know, Dire Straits knew of, or it might have been people in the band or whatever, but by and large, I think, like, you know, it'd be like a story rather than, like a direct reflection of another, like, of my relationship with me bird, because, like, I think something in the air is, like, I wouldn't want to desecrate something in the air with, like, something that probably wouldn't be as good. Do you know what I mean? Like, and, like, I'm not Ed Sheeran, like, you know what I mean? He just fucking love song after love song, and don't be wrong, he's done pretty well out of it, hasn't he? But, you know, for me, it's just, like, love's a very important thing, and we all need it in our lives, do you know what I mean? But there's a lot of things that are fucking wrong in the world, and there's a lot of things that I think need to be addressed first, over me loving me bird loads, do you know what I mean? Me bird knows I love her, I'll give her a ring one day, do you know what I mean? Like, that'll be good enough, do you know what I mean? We're getting a puppy in June, that's fucking sound, do you know what I mean? Like, I'll leave the love songs to Ed Sheeran for the foreseeable future. I've got songs fucking lined up about all sorts of stuff, do you know, I'm working on album 3 now, and
is it already written, or?
No, I've got a couple of songs. One I think is, like, could be one of the biggest singles I've done. It's just a fucking catchy motherfucker, do you know what I mean? It's like summer anthem, really, do you know what I mean? I'm buzzing with it. I can't wait, like, to record it properly. I've recorded the demo in my front room with a Lecky drum kit and my band, obviously, but I wrote another one about fucking influencer culture, you know, like, what did that knobhead Molly May say?
Molly May.
So you've all got 24 hours in it?
Yeah, around that idea. Not directly about her, because, you know, she's a waste of space, but, you know, about that idea of, like, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, and, like, you know, turning down your noses at people who struggle, basically, do you know what I mean? And, like, painting yourself out to be some sort of fucking martyr, do you know what I mean? And some sort of hard worker that, you know, it's pretty privilege at the end of the day. The song's a little bit about pretty privilege. It's about, like, you know, let's not have it right, Molly May, and people like Molly May. The only reason, like, even, like, you know, like the ones off Geordie Shore and all that shit, the only reason that you are in the position that you were in is because at one time you flashed most of your body to a camera, do you know what I mean? You either had your tits out, you acted inappropriately in a club, getting fucking rogered by all sorts of lads. or you sat on a sunbed in Love Island and fucking cried and tried to crave the attention of a boxer.
It's not success,
fucking, it's not like, it's not earned success, do you know what I mean? Fair play. You've done what you needed to do. You've got yourself from there to there, you know, whatever. Do you know what I mean? But it's not because what, you know, all the things that you've got to say. It's because of what you fucking look like. And make no mistake that if you weighed fucking 25 stone, had fucking frizzy hair, spots all over your face and glasses, nothing wrong with people who are like that, you know what I mean? Everyone's happy. You know, I'm not saying that. But if people like her and other influence or other knobhead influencers looked like that, they wouldn't be there. Do you know what I mean? They wouldn't be there, and it's like
they don't stand the test of time, do they, like a musician would? Or
no, but like, you know, they you know, they earn a good fucking living out of it. But it's just the fact that, like, you know, I don't begrudge anyone for earning any money. Do you know what I mean? But like, if you're gonna earn money so easily, you know what I mean, and then turn around and say, oh yeah, well, you should be doing better, to people who are fucking, do you know what I mean, who know the meaning of a day's graft, it's like, piss off. And don't get me wrong, like, you know what I mean, I know that like influencers and people online and people who are in high profile positions, they have to deal with other stuff, like what I was talking about with, like, you know, they have to deal with shit on social media. They have to deal with people like me giving them shit, you know what I mean, like on a podcast and telling them that, you know, I think that they're fucking parasites basically, do you know what I mean, which is what they are. But, you know, you do have to deal with, and I get that, and it's not easy to deal with the other side of it, but, you know, you'd help yourself out a fucking lot if you didn't run your mouth off about stuff that you haven't thought about, you know what I mean? If she'd been sat there, you know, pretty girl, doing pretty girl things, getting her photos took, and being a model and all that, and people are giving a shit, then that's fucking wrong, do you know what I mean? Because she's just doing, but, like, if she's pretending to be someone she's fucking not, and she's got a lot of airs and graces about her, the people are going to call you out on it, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's just, it's a shame the way the world is, do you know what I mean? In that respect. And again, I just think in so many ways now, we're just breeding fucking generations of dickheads all over the world, all over the country now. It's sad, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, Mike Tyson said it, like, not so much Molly May now, moving on. And people like, more like, you know, fucking trolls and bots on Twitter. And people who, like, you know, go out of the way day in, day out to put people down. You know, like, even in my generation, like, a lot of the kids who give me shit are probably about 19, 20 years of age, do you know what I mean? Maybe even younger. And, like, in my generation, like, it was MSN, it weren't Twitter, so it was a lot of a smaller network. But and, like, everyone who you spoke to, you sort of knew. Or you'd see them about, and that's how you get to at them, because you didn't talk. You know, people now on Twitter have got fucking best friends from fucking, you know what I mean, who they've never met before, because they tweet them every day and shit like that. And like, when I was young, if I would have ran my mouth off about someone online, chances are I'd have got a smack in the mouth. Do you know what I mean? Like, would have got been filled in probably in my lifetime for opening my mouth when I shouldn't have. But now, so many of these kids have grown up with like a phone or an iPad in like virtual conflict. Do you know what I mean? That they've never had a smack.
There's no consequences.
No, there's no consequence to anything online, and like not anymore. Do you know what I mean? Because half of them are behind fucking fake names and whatever.
Fake
do you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, genuinely, like, if someone, like, fucking hell, if someone come up to me on the street and said, like, what? To be fair, it's a fucking great shout, but someone said to me the other day, you could fucking park a plane in between me two front teeth. It's a good shout. I've got a fucking big gap in me teeth. I look like plug off the Beano. Do you know what I mean? But guarantee you, if someone come to my face and said that to me, I'd demonstrate what the teeth could do. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Literally.
He wouldn't though, would he?
No, he wouldn't, but if he did, he'd have fucking a bite mark in his teeth or on his nose or on his ear or something, you know what I mean? Like, genuinely. But the fact that they know, you know, he doesn't know who I am. You know what I mean?
It is crazy. Some of the shit, like the last few days, some of the shit you've got on Twitter, and it's fucking mad.
It's fucking...
It's weird. It's like...
It's bizarre. It's bizarre, like, because the worst... You know, if I've come out and I've been like, this is boss, all using knobheads. Yeah. But, like, I'm not doing anything other than promote myself or someone else, or just, like, you know what I mean? Just trying to respond to criticism half the
it's
time.
like, it's that video wearing it of you celebrating like Paddy winning, and that's like your mate, innit? And there's all these people fucking taking offence to that, and it's like, how can you be like,
just don't follow you if you don't like it.
Yeah, that's
it. It's crazy.
But even if you do follow me and you don't like it, you can just look on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like,
just scroll.
or just say, this is a bit cringy. This, I think. Fair enough. If that's what you think, that's what you think. The fact that you've said it's a bit weird, but if you want to say it sound. But then like to go on and say like personal insults and that, it's just like, you know, where'd you get off sort of thing, do you know what I mean? Because like, I'm sure if someone said that to you, you wouldn't be too pleased about it, you know what I mean? But no, on the most part, I deal with it well. You know, I come back sometimes with funny little shouts, do you know what I mean? Like, my shouts just always win, always win. And that's funny, you know what I mean? But, no, lately it's making me realise how many knobheads there are out there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like, I don't know what a firm of shitbags we've got out there as
do you know what though, in a sad way, the more success you get, the more
shows your audience.
Yeah, of course, but you know, at the same time, like, if say like someone's never heard of me before, right, and they see 10 people saying something about me, for example, because they've never known me before, the first thing in their head is a load of people talking about me, maybe that they know. So automatically their mind's sort of made up. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, like.
But like, you know, don't take it too literally, like. But yeah, it's crazy because, like I say, I've had over the last 6 months to a year, you know, some pretty not brutal, not like fucking stuff that, you know, it's like so bad that can't be repeated. Some of them have been funny shouts, do you know what I mean? And like, if it is a funny shout, I will even giggle to myself and think, you've just proper got me there, do you know what I mean? But, yeah, like the amount of, you know, individual comments or quote tweets or whatever I've had over the year, compared to how many people, I've had no one say anything to me face. Yeah. Not once. I've had kids from the city, do you know what I mean? Calling me all sorts, do you know what I mean? Quite frankly, Scousers, by the way, that they type. Yeah. Now, I've surely, I must have walked past one of these people at least once. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm about the city quite a bit. People see me quite a bit. People bump into me quite a bit. So somewhere along the line, one of these people said something to me, and they've walked past me, and they haven't said it to me face. Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing that annoys me. It's not the fact that they're saying it. It's the fact that they're hiding behind something to say it, and it's like, it is shithouse. And because I am such a vocal, outspoken person, if something is on my mind, I will say it, you know what I mean? Yeah. And stupidly enough for me, I look a bit soft then, arguing with knobheads, do you know what I mean? Because it's like giving them the light of day. The ideal thing to do with this sort of culture is just ignore it, do you know what I mean? And I'd say 80% of the time now I do. But there's that 20% of the time where it comes a bit thick and a bit heavy, like the last couple of days. Yeah. Like, you know, the thing that annoys me is, though it's inaccurate stuff, it's when people quote and go, he's got one of his mates to film him. Right, my record label have told me that I'm getting a documentary filmed about me, right? Alright, I could have objected against it, but, you know, they've told me that that's what they want to do, that's the vision. So I've got a cameraman with me when I do most things now. Do you know what I mean? Like, fucking hell, if I was eating a burger in America, the camera would be in my face. I wouldn't say, lad, get your camera out while I eat this scoff, lad. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Just look, watch it.
It's your job, isn't it?
It's my job. It's part of my promotion, but I have a cameraman with me. And then I have 2 lads who do my socials, do you know what I mean? I do replies, I do like I do the wording for them. But if I've got a gig at fucking whatever time here, and the post needs to go out at 6 o'clock, so loads of people see it, people do it, you know what I mean? And literally in America, stuff was getting sent from the cameraman to the social media team. Yeah. I was out on stage gigging, doing interviews in a fucking different time zone. Yeah. Didn't have a fucking clue what's going on. It gets posted, and you're getting people saying, look, he's trying to get like his mates to film him there. So he looks it's like, nah, mate, I was told, I was on the itinerary, we're gonna go and watch Paddy's fight. Do you know what I mean? That was one of the itinerary things. It's like a Scouse culture day or fucking something like that, you know what I mean? And then on the flip side, you got Berghouse as well, saying anywhere Jamie moves, you know, because I've got a contractual agreement with them, they'd help me out with a bit of the funds to get out there.
Yeah.
You know, anywhere Jamie moves, want a camera on him, I want him in Berghouse. Do you know what I mean?
When's the documentary coming out on that then?
It'd be a fucking long time.
Was it just across America you've been filming, or was it the tour as well?
It's been getting filmed for a long time. There's loads of footage, you know what I mean? Could be in fucking 10 years' time for all I know. I don't have a clue. That's one, I disconcern myself with it because I'm so concerned about the music.
Yeah.
If that's something that you want to do, you do it, you know what I mean? I can talk to a camera, I can be myself with a camera there, it doesn't ask me. Do you know what I mean? But, like, don't, like, you know, I'm not gonna fucking, don't ask me to sit up and worry about, like, have you got enough content overnight? Yeah. I'll just do my thing and you get the content and you do it. And it sounds, so it doesn't ask me, do you know what I mean? But I'm focused on the music. But yeah, over the past couple of days it was bad, but you know, it's never bad enough that it's gonna stop me doing what I'm doing or stop me being myself. I am who I am. You know, I don't lose any sleep over it, you know what I mean? It's just, there might be an hour in the day where you think, fucking gang of dickheads there on Twitter, like, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck's the country gonna be like?
It's always Twitter though, isn't it? Well, Instagram seems a lot more...
Yeah, because Instagram's just pictures, do you know what I mean? And, like, most people who, like, comment on your pictures are people who, like you, who follow you. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you don't really see stuff on Instagram that you don't want to see, if that makes sense, because it's so tailored to, like, what you already follow and, like, who you speak to and all that shit. Whereas Twitter, if someone retweets something or quotes something, it can go fucking worldwide in seconds, can't it? So, like, it gives people, and obviously Twitter's weird, so it gives people more of a platform to actually say something. Instagram, it's like, if you leave a big comment in my comment section on Instagram, I'm not going to see it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But tweets, you see, and people might think that you don't see them. But, like, even footy play, you know, and they say, you won't see that. Yeah. They fucking see it all. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's impossible not to. Do you know what I mean? It's your life, it's your career, it's your fucking day to day, do you know what I mean? Unfortunately. But, like I say, it's one of them things that, you know, for me, I've fully accepted that I'm going to have to deal with it. Like you say, the more successful you get, the more you're going to have to deal with people who don't like you. For every fucking 10 people that like you, there'll be one who doesn't. And, you know, for every 10 people who don't like you, you'll get maybe 4 people who come out and tell you that they don't online, do you know what I mean, these days? But like I say, no one's fucking telling me to fuck off on the streets of Liverpool, do you know what I mean? And that's where my heart is at the end of the day, so that's sound for me. Me Spotify monthly listeners are higher than they've ever been. They're growing. Me social media platforms are forever growing and bigger than they've ever been. So to all these people who are trolling me, who do think that they're doing me a bit of damage, I'd just like to say I'm fucking flying, mate, honest to God, more than I've ever been. So that's that one to bed.
Well, speaking of flying, you've just been to America. How was it?
Boss, lad. You're just getting better at this, lad. You know what? I noticed it when you introduced the podcast. You're so much more confident in that. It's fucking boss to see. But no, America was fucking like Texas. It's just movie stuff in it. You know what I mean? You see Texas and you just picture like cowboys and fucking shit off films and that. You know what I mean? It was just like that. You know what I mean? It was just massive. Like you could fit Europe into Texas, I believe.
That's mad.
Yeah, it's a mad thing. It shows you how big it is. Like we were just in Austin. There's like 4 or 5 big cities in Texas, all bigger than Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? Like fucking and suburban areas. But we were in Austin, and like Austin's like the liberal place. Do you know what I mean? It's like where there was fucking the only place in Texas where there was a Bernie Sanders poster during the election. Do you know what I mean? There was actual like signs saying "fuck Trump" and that. You know what I mean? That's like proper Trump state, isn't it? Texas. So Austin's like slogan is "Keep Austin Weird." It's like that's what they say. Keep Austin weird, and it fucking was a bit weird. Do you know what I mean? Bit mad, but the experience in itself was great. It was just like, you know, you're going to America, and like, do you know what was great about it? The crowds, like, you know, when you go to England, sometimes particularly in Liverpool, and you go and you're playing to someone, and they're like, "All right, lad, show me what you can do," and they're sort of bit stiff.
And you need to impress them still. Even though they're going to see you.
Yeah, exactly. Still, it's like, it's stupid, but it happens all across England, do you know what I mean? It's like, well, if you want us to go fucking mad, you're going to have to do something that triggers it, you know what I mean? Not when you go to Scotland. If you go to Glasgow or fucking Ireland or anywhere like that, or Newcastle, to fucking round the bend from the minute off, do you know what I mean? But certain places, it can be like that, but here, it was like, you walk onto the stage and it's like, come on, man, fuck, you know what I mean? Do you like, but genuinely, like, everyone stops, they're listening to you intently. Do you know what I mean? I had people fucking who'd never heard me before, like, saying, "Oh, that lyric," when you said, you know, like, and like they really like into it, man. that show, oh, your intensity, I've never seen nothing like that, you know what I mean? It was like, you know, they were just nice people, do you know what I mean? Like, who care, who love music. And that's what they were there to see. They were there to see British, like I played at the British Music Embassy twice. And like, that was just basically full of, a couple of Brits, don't get me wrong, but a lot of Americans who had a thirst for the British up-and-coming bands, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, there's some boss bands on there, like that venue that week, like I seen Wet Leg there. Honestly, I know it's not conventionally my cup of tea, but I've seen them twice now, and there's something about them. They're just fucking boss. Do you know what I mean? Seeing Wet Leg there, seeing Yard Act, they were fucking brilliant. Like, just no proper performers. Then like, they were like, could learn a thing or two from them myself, just on like the performance and that. He was pissed, or he was seen pissed as a fart, but he was on it to fuck. Do you know what I mean? It's like, have you heard Yard Act? Have you listened to them?
No.
It's a bit like Blair, a little bit like spoken. Oh, right, mate, so you're walking down the street and this fella says to you, what the fuck's going on? And you say, well, I don't know what's going on. Neither do you, neither does anyone. It's a bit like that, you know, with just music. It's fucking like dead political, but
I'll
like,
give them a go.
It's good. They're smashing in America. They're playing the Jimmy Fallon show tonight in America. Like, they're doing really well. They got a number 2. They're from Leeds, Northern band, you know what I mean? Fucking good on them. They've got something. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're like, seeing it and I was like, yeah, lads, well done. Do you know what I mean? And I've seen this band that are like from all over the world, but they live in London, and they're called Los Bichos, and it's like a bit like Khruangbin on speed, and like fucking fast instrumental madness with loads of drums and that. Mate, fucking took the roof off the gaff, and like they wouldn't get that sort of reaction to, you know, if they walked out to like a room full of people who'd never heard them before on a support slot in the UK, they would not have got that reaction. Do you know what I mean? They would have been like, they set the roof on fire.
They're more open-minded in America.
Yeah, definitely, because it's like there's so much more stuff going on, and so it's a lot more of a diverse place, isn't it? But the experience in itself, like the festival, the place itself, the barbecue. We went for like a barbecue restaurant, you know, proper Texan fucking fucking amazing. Like brisket just fell into the mouth. Bosh, lads. But everything about it was just like massive, do you know what I mean? And then like, there's like this street called 6th Street, and it's like moody. Do you know what I mean? Like moody. And like, it got even moodier towards the end of the week when all the rap shows started going on. Yeah. And obviously, you know, all them gangster rappers in America, they're all in like proper gangs and that, aren't they? It's not like, it's not like over here where it's like someone pretending to be a bit of a rough
like
ass.
What's his name? 6ix9ine or something?
Yeah, all of them, the ones who were dead and in jail doing life and all that.
Yeah.
And fucking gold teeth and that. Lad. Fucking just, honestly, they were just walking down smoking blunts in the street. It was fucking mad. It was like moody though. Like, you know, see like different gangs snarling each other and that. People were getting shot every night. Fucking hell. We played in a venue with like Latham's and Red Rum Club. Modern Sky Showcase it was. The Royston Club played. There was a few bands who played, do you know what I mean? It was Good Night, Rianne Downey, Natalie McCool, I think. And went to go outside and just pum pum. You know what I mean? It was like, what the fuck? We were right round the corner from it, you know what I mean?
Crazy that.
Fucking went to go outside to load the gear out. It was like busies outside every venue saying stay inside, do you know what I mean? You'll be alright in 10 minutes. 10 minutes later, everything was back to normal. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it was mad. Just the fucking, like, walking down them rap areas and like, do you know what I mean? It was like, whoa. Do you know what I mean? It was fucking tense. Like, it was funny actually at one point. There must have been like a big rap show on, do you know what, like on this street and in a couple of venues, because the whole street was full of like fucking, they looked like gang members, do you know what I mean? Like they were all smoking blunts and fucking all, everyone had a fucking big chain round them. One of them had a Death Row Records jacket on, you know what I mean? Like fucking, some of them seemed like quite serious cats, to be fair, like fucking blunts, like honestly, fucking madness. And us and the Lathams, like, you know what I mean? Like fucking, my band, the Lathams, all our crew were like walked through the middle of the street, and I stood at the back, and like, everyone was just fucking looking at us like, I mean, these are fucking lost here, like, you know what I mean? And I was crying, laughing, because obviously the Lathams were all dressed like fucking cowboys and like, they bought all cowboy boots and hats and that, and like fucking, you know what I mean? Just honestly, we just looked like the fucking maddest concoction of people ever, and we were walking through this like fucking rap war zone. Do you know what I mean? But it was amazing. It, like the whole, like, it added to it. You know what I mean? It was like, it was just boss. It's just like the the city atmosphere because of the festival was great, and like the food was great, the weather was fucking 80 degrees, do you know what I mean? It was just better than being here. But like I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it a lot. I'd love to go back in a heartbeat.
Do you know the way you have 2 albums now? You have the headache with the set list now. Like, what was your set list like in America, and what are you going to do about your upcoming tour?
Well, obviously the first tour was sound that we done because it was like the album and the singles off the second album that were already released. But then like it's tougher. It is tougher for festivals now. Yeah. Because festival sets are shorter again. Like if I could play for an hour and 15 minutes, I could probably squeeze 2 albums into that. Maybe take 1 song off each or 2 songs off each. Do you know what I mean? I could probably still play the majority of both albums, but festival sets, some of them, you're lucky if you get 45 minutes for a festival. Do you know what I mean?
Playing loads of festivals this year.
Got a few
neighbourhoods,
Kensal Calling, one in Ireland, one in Wales.
I've seen you do the little eyes emoji for Glasgow.
I can't say nothing, lads, unfortunately, until you know, I've been given the green light to talk about certain shows, but I'd love to play Glastonbury, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's my favourite festival ever anyway to go to as a fan. It's my favourite place in the world. Have you ever been?
Touchy subject today,
though. Did you miss out on the things?
My meltdown on the train. I got through, right, put the details in, and then it was coming up with like no fucking coaches from anywhere. I was trying to get them from Swansea.
My mates were the same. Couple of them got through. My bird, she's got one anyway. She got through, and then again last minute, you know, she was trying for a couple of mates. Like, you know what I mean? You get there though. It's like there'll be a time when you just get tickets, you know what I mean? And then, you know what the weird thing is? Like, once you go, tickets just sort of, after you've been once, it's weird. My bird's been for like the last 7 or 8 years, and like, she's always just got tickets. After the first time she got them, she's just got them.
Yeah, I've heard a few people like that.
I don't know, like, obviously, if you ever go there and experience it, it's like, sounds a bit cringy and almost a bit Everton as well, lad. It's like Glastonbury chooses you. Do you know what I mean? Like,
born, not manufactured.
When you go there, you just think, I was meant to be here. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was made to come here and spend 5 days getting fucking out of my mind. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, it's an adult playground. It's the happiest place you will ever go in your life. You know, you've been to festivals, you've been to Creamfields, you've been to V Festival, you've been to all them. You see scraps, don't you? You see pissed up knobheads fighting. Like, normally wolves, do you know what I mean? Like, fucking, or jocks. Scots just fucking love a Barney after a few, don't they? Yeah. But they don't have like enough, but I love the jocks. Glasgow's like my second city, do you know what I mean? But they are fucking mental. You know what I mean? They are round the twist. Like, I've never seen people have the tops off before I've even walked out to the gig before, do you know what I mean? Fucking half the crowd was topless, just ready. But, Glastonbury, I have never seen a crossword, I've never seen an argument, I've never seen a fight, I've never seen fucking... The only thing I've seen is someone having a bad trip. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's it. And like, I've seen fucking 70-odd-year-old women walking around tripping absolute bollocks at 4 o'clock in the morning. Mate, it's just like, it's boss. Do you know, like, and like, whatever you're into, it's there. Do you know what I mean? Like, any genre, any, like, whether you're going from fucking country to tech, everything in between, like, is there. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, the food's amazing. You walk a lot, but like, the atmosphere, it's like, you get to most festivals and it's like, right, search, you know, like, where are you from, looking at you. You know what I mean? It's a bit like oppressive, isn't it? First time I got to Glastonbury, it was like, hello, welcome to Glastonbury, come on in. And it was like, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? Like, you're in now, you've done it, way! And it's like, whoa! Like, where's all the moody security guards fucking snarling me and asking to search me bags and that, you know what I mean? It's like, they just want you there to have a good time. It's like, and like, there's loads of like anti-Tory messages all around the place as well. It's like cases to how we think. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just a boss place, and like, given half the chance, I'd love to play it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What was it like last year? Because you played Boardwalks, didn't you? And Cornwall was like your first festival.
Boardmasters, yeah, it was fucking boss. Like, first festival. It's funny actually. It was like this kid up. We were playing like this little stage. You know what I mean? It was like the 3rd biggest stage or something.
I seen a video of it. The fucking background looked mad with like the sea and that.
Yeah, it was right on a cliff.
Yeah,
it was class. Boss venue, but like boss setup for the festival. Like, weather was great. Like, you're looking over the sea. It was dead clean. All of like the stuff at the festival was boss. You know what I mean? Bit of a young crowd. Like, do you know what I mean? It was a bit of like a lot of like people fresh out of you know, in sixth form and probably fresh out of and leaving year 11 doing the GCSEs as well. You could see a lot of like people who were quite young letting themselves go for the first time. Like there was a bit of that, but dead friendly atmosphere. Like not mad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bit like chilled, but like not too chilled out. You know what I mean? Like you could tell it to be a party there, but we got there and we were on like the third biggest stage, whatever, maybe even the fourth. And like we got behind the stage, like we got in there in the day, and like God knows what time. Say we got there about 1-2 o'clock. I think we were on about 6:30. Like we walked past the stage, and there was like no one there. Do you know what I mean? And it was like one fella like playing acoustic, and like his family sat on a bench watching him. I was like, oh, do you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be like a welcome in this, like, into festival life, you know what I mean? And then got to behind the stage, like, 5 minutes before it was supposed to be going on from, like, me little area thing. Got behind the stage and, like, there was this lad singing who was quite good, bit of a, like, an R&B pop sort of artist with had a drummer backing tracks. He played a little bit of electric guitar, but it was a bit like boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? Like a bit like just simply sort of like poppy guitar sort of stuff. And like there was about 15 people watching him. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I was like, come on. And he was good. Do you know what I mean? He was really good. Like I don't know, I forgot what his name was. His drummer was amazing, but he was really good. And like the crowd that were there for him were really good with him. Do you know, like they were like cheering after every song, like invested in him. They were trying to move around with something picked up, and like you could see that he was made up as well. He was like, oh, honestly, he's been amazing for me, blah blah blah. It's my first festival, all that shit. So like, this must be like a rite of passage. Do you know what I mean? Like your festival, like and then like starts like setting the gear up. You know, they come off stage, so we're letting them load off, so we move out the way a bit. And then like I'm making myself my little local tea that I have before I start. And I just start look like the stage is like there, like from where I am behind it, so my eyes can just see into the crowd. Next thing there's like 50 people there, you know, at the front, and I'm like, oh, go ahead, that'll do that. Do you know what I mean? 50 people. I was like to the band, just fucking get to the last two songs. This Place in Weekend in Paradise, you know, we'll win them with that. Like, you know what I mean? Just get there. Yeah. And then all of a sudden there's like another 100 turned up, and then like by the time I was about to walk on stage, like 500-600 people there, you know, like and it wasn't a big area. It was like look fucking chocker, and like a few of them were singing footy songs, like Liverpool songs. Then a few of them, I was getting worried, thinking, oh God, did he think I'm gonna be doing all that? You know what I mean? But then like must have been like United fans there. They were singing like anti-Liverpool songs. Do you know what I mean? And it settled me. I was like, this is good, because like I know that there's people here now that actually don't want to hear Liverpool songs. You want to hear something. Do you know what I mean? Whether they know me or not, or whether they're just intrigued, who gives a fuck? We've got people who want to listen to us. So as the footy stuff was going back and forwards, I see the lads a bit like, it's like just get to the last two songs, and then fucking walked out there, and like they were just boss. Like walked out, I was like, fucking come on, you know what I mean? Like come on, like played like 7 or 8 tunes, and like, do you know what I mean? Even if you didn't know the words, they were all like doing clapping and mosh pit and fucking and then like by the end of it, there was like 1,000 people there, you know, where people were walking past and obviously seeing like a bit of chaos going on, like young people, and just like, what's this? You could literally see people like just looking and coming in because they look good. Do you know what I mean? And like I didn't have no photographers or nothing with me, like from the festival didn't give me none. And then like right at the end, you seen this fucking festival photographer trying to get snaps. Do you know what I mean? Obviously he must have been sent down as the crowd got bigger. But no, it was a boss experience that, like, for me, like, because like my tour manager said to me, most bands do play to 15 people at a festival. Do you know what I mean? For the like you were saying with the Snuts, BBC introducing about 80 people there and stuff like that. And I had like the best part of 1,000 there, I reckon, by the end of the set. You know what I mean? It was chaos. And
do you know what neighbourhood in Kendal call a new main stage? Or you're not sure?
I think our main stage for neighbourhood, I think our main stage for neighbourhood, as far as I'm aware, Kendal, I'm not sure. I know I'm not on the Tim Peak stage or anything like that, so I don't know how many stages there are there. But I think near the time it'll all be announced anyway. You know, it'll be like I'll be on Kendal in next week main stage or whenever it is. But I don't know, mate. I just, to be honest, I was just as long as the offers come in, I was just happy because last summer I know it was a rollover from like the summer before, but I was a bit disheartened that I didn't get any festivals. Really, I only got Boardmasters. Do you know what I mean? Because there was no offence to any of the bands, but there was bands who, even from this city, who weren't doing what I was doing in any way, whether it was streaming sales or live sales. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The venues that I was doing and selling out were fucking miles bigger and, you know, more accomplished than what they were doing, and loads of them got Boss Festival slots and stuff like that, and I was a bit disheartened. But then like promoters come back to me and were like, look, we can't have the same thing every year. You're on next year, some of them won't be, you know what I mean? But like, you know, when you are on, you'll be getting better slots. Yeah. And you'll be getting, you know, obviously a bit more money and stuff like that.
Can you do any abroad ones soon?
The problem is with like them abroad festivals and stuff like that, like you can get them. We got offered one in like we got offered like Amsterdam and one in Paris, but the money was shit. You know, because no one knows you and that, and like you're putting yourself in debt to go over. Yeah. So like we rein them in until like we can, because basically, like if you're with a major label, like, you know, say you're with Warner, Sony, Ireland or whatever, like they've got offices in every country. Do you know what I mean? And all around Europe, all around America. So when you're on these labels, they tap into like the promoters in different countries, and like to get you on like the big slots. Do you know what I mean? If you look at the British bands or the UK bands that have got, you know, same lineups as Arctic Monkeys, you know, like abroad, you'd see it's Inhaler, you'd see it's the Latums. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, met them both. Obviously, I'm mates with the Latums really well, but I met Inhaler, and I know the tour manager really well, and they're lovely lads, saying nothing away from them, but their labels, you know what I mean? They've got the, and their booking agents as well. Like, I know for a fact, like, Latums and Arctics have the same booking agent, you know what I mean? The exact same, like, person to a man. Who books the same shows, so obviously it makes sense for them to be on like them big festivals that the Arctics are on and stuff like that. There will come a time, like, you don't even see too much of Sam Fender doing, like, he's slowly moving into Europe now, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? But it takes a bit of a time, but I would gig anywhere. I just couldn't want to play. Do you know what I mean? I love music. I love playing live to people. I love playing to fans that I've already got. I love playing to people who've never heard me before. I enjoy the challenge. But you know, I think probably have to wait maybe another year or two before I start getting into Europe and America a bit more.
So, kind of playing live, you've got the Echo coming up. Well, the M&S Bank, but a lot of people. How did that come about, and what was that like for you when you first heard of it?
It's just so, like, obviously, like, bands in the city will work with the promoter from like the start. Sometimes they'll change and work with different promoters, but by and large, you'll see it around my Liverpool shows. I Love Live Events. It's normally the promoter that does it. You see other ones, it's like Evil, isn't it? Club Evil. You know, and so basically when I done the Weekends in Paradise single launch, like the day after it came out in November 2019, the promoter who was doing that was Steve Ondy from I Love Live Events, and we sold out the Ship and Forecast first in like a day. Do you know what I mean? It was my first solo show. He's like, yeah, that doesn't happen, mate. Do you know what I mean? That's really good. So we'll upgrade the venue because, you know, there's already 100 people on the waiting list. So we moved to Zanzibar, which was 300 caps, sold out again in a day. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So he was like, look, Jay, this is really good, but we're not going to move up again. We're going to stay here. And then we'll go to the Arts Club, which is double the capacity, do you know what I mean? And then we'll go. So what he said from the day one was, like, after that gig, and he's seen the atmosphere in there, and he's seen how much the crowd were, like, you know, responsive and receptive to me. He just come up to me after the show and went, we'll get an arena show in with you, you know. He was like, he's done it with Catfish from the bottom to the top in Liverpool, took them through all the venues. And you build the followings and you build the numbers up, and, you know, he's the man who works with the numbers, and he was like, with these numbers and this demand, it's like, if you keep releasing good tunes and you keep, you know, people keep liking them, we're going to get an arena show in here within a couple of years, do you know what I mean? And I always thought, it's just promoter being ambitious, like, you know what I mean? But he's always had the ambition, Steve. Steve Undy, and he was like, along with me management as well, who shared that ambition, and me obviously. But like he was like, so we done the Arts Club and sold out, and he was like, yeah, we do the O2 Academy. Do you know what I mean? But then we done the O2 Academy, sold it out, and then lockdown comes, so we didn't play it. So he was like, I reckon we can double it by the time you're playing next. So we done Montford Hall, 2,500.
Boss gig though.
Great gig, fucking one of the most memorable gigs of my life. And then he was like, look, Montford Hall's in September. We're going to do 3 Olympia shows back to back in December. He was like, we'll announce 2. If they sell out, we'll announce the 3rd. He said, if you sell out them 3 shows, given that you're already playing to 2,500 people in September, he's like, it's roughly a bit lower than 2k in the Olympia. He's like, there's 6k over 3 nights in the Olympia. Then there's 2,500 in Montford Hall a couple of months earlier. It's like, not everyone who's at that Montford Hall gig is going to be at them Olympia gigs because they've seen it. Do you know what I mean? He's like, so there's 8,000 people, give or take, maybe 7.5 if you're cancelling out like people who've been to a couple of the gigs. It's like, the arena's 10,000. Do you know what I mean? You've done that in the space of a couple of months. Do you know what I mean? The only place to go is the arena now. Do you know what I mean? It'd either be do 3 nights at Montford Hall or 4 nights at Montford Hall. Do you know what I mean? Or do the arena. And he was just like, we're going to put it on sale. And like, for me, I was just, at that time when it did come about to going on sale, I was ready for it because I was seeing my ticket. I get my tickets updated every week off my booking agent to see exactly how many tickets we sold every week for every show. I'm right on it, you know what I mean? Like, I do, like, my management's manage me, but I take matters into my own hands a lot of the time. People fucking hate working with me because they're not used to an artist being so driven by numbers and, oh mate, I bollock me booking agents. Like, if the ticket sales aren't good or if you give me a false fucking, I'm like a school teacher, lad, you know what I mean? 6 out of 10 see me, fucking, this is not good enough sort of thing, do you know what I mean? And like, me, you know, I fucking have my management and my record label on pins half the time because I'm that driven and I'm that, like, you know, with numbers and to the point, and I see everything and nothing will get past me because it's my business and my name that bears the brunt of everything at the end of the day. So if you're not invested in it 100%, then there's something fucking wrong. Do you know what I mean? You don't feel it. So we obviously got to the arenas, and I knew that, like, you know, given the confidence from the promoter, already telling me all that, seeing that I'd sold out all them shows, knowing that the second album hadn't dropped. You know what I mean? I was like, I'd be a fool not to go for it. You know what I mean?
It's going to be a special gig, that though.
Yeah, well, look, and like you were saying, how did it feel? Well, I remember going to my first gig there with my ma to see Snow Patrol when I was about 9. Do you know what I mean? Like, fucking Snow Patrol, I know, but do you know, at the time, as a young lad, I liked them. Do you know what I mean? My mum loved them. Yeah. And I remember going with my mum, and I remember thinking, fucking hell, it's massive in here. You know what I mean? Didn't even cross my mind that one day I'd be playing there. And then it was when I went to see Jerry there, like, most recently, I think that's the last gig I went to in there. Yeah. And it was like, obviously, I was thinking to myself, I don't think I'd released by that time either, but I was thinking to myself, fucking hell, imagine playing, imagine how he feels now, fucking hell. You know what I mean? You stood at the back, we were stood at the back, and you're that far away from the stage, and you're looking around and you're going, I'm big in here, innit? Like, you know, there's fucking loads of people in here, like, and you know, it runs through your mind, like, fucking hell, do you reckon you could ever get to here? And obviously in my head at that time the answer was no, because I'd never even tasted it. Do you know what I mean? Like, but now, like, you just, like, fucking hell, it's like over 80% sold now. Do you know what I mean? We sold over 8,000 tickets. It's in November. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's we're moving sound. We could, if I can sell that out, that'll be like just a memorable, you know, like, and a big achievement for me. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I think the only Scousers who've done it, headlined it themselves, fucking Paul McCartney and maybe the Zootons. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's not many people from the city who went and headlined it and sold it out. You know what I mean? Fingers crossed I can do it. You know what I mean? I think the only band who could probably do it, probably Cast. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. If they swerved them 3 shows in the academy and put them all together as one, they might get it. Do you know what I mean? I struggle to think of anyone at the moment.
Who do you think will be like the next, like, artist to reach, like, your sort of level from Liverpool?
From Liverpool, it's hard to say. There's a few great bands. Do you know what I mean? But you know, there's very early stages. Do you know what I mean? Like I love the lads at Rainmaker. I think they're just, you know, they're the boss group of lads, and they fucking proper into it. And but you know, they're still finding the sound. They've got some good tunes. You know what I mean? And they've got a good sound, and they fucking have it when they're on stage. Fair play to them. You know what I mean? They're doing all the right things, and they're moving in the right way. But do you know what I mean? There's a lot to do.
Yeah.
So you can't really tell until people start. It's when people start selling out them venues. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know it's not everything, but when you see people, like, you know, for me, like, say example, for some of my gigs, they pretty much sell out now. You know, if I were to announce, fucking hell, well, the Cavern, exactly. You know, when you see the Cavern selling out in 15 seconds,
Yeah.
it's like, they're the things that, like, Jerry Cinnamon was doing. Do you know, when his tours would come on sale, could you get tickets? Do you know what I mean? It was like, be on at 9 o'clock or you've got no chance. Do you know what I mean? And like, it's when you start, obviously I'm not that level, but when you start seeing lads like, you know, like, announce a gig, like, oh, I'm doing the Arts Club, and then like the next day it's like sold out. You're like, right, there's obviously like a massive demand for this lad here. Do you know what I mean? But it'd be hard to say. I think Tom Rogan, in terms of his profile, like, you know, on TikTok and stuff like that, he seems to do quite well with his gig tickets. So I'm led to believe. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure they do sell out. In Liverpool, I'm trying to think, because I don't want to completely miss off anyone here who's doing really well. But in terms of a singer-songwriter, you know, bands, you know, everyone's sort of just, in terms of ability, there's fucking hundreds who could do it, you know what I mean? Like, there's fucking hundreds of bands out there who were better than, singers out there, songwriters who were better than me, you know what I mean? I've just got the following. I was in the right place at the right time to make it work for me. Do you know what I mean? And I rode the luck. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And you've got to have that. You know what I mean? You've got to have that moment where you just go. The only band I can probably see at the moment is Crawlers. To be perfectly honest with you, because they've
smashed it, haven't they?
The streams are ridiculous, and then they did sell out them Arts Club dates quite quick. Do you know what I mean? One of them's tonight actually, and yeah, you know, they like. I don't not listen. No, I'm going to say I don't listen to them. You know, they're not like a band who I'll put on and listen to all the time. But I appreciate the talent. Yeah. They work like fuck. Do you know what I mean? They've got good songs. Do you know what I mean? In their genre, she's got a great voice. They can all play their instruments. They market themselves fucking unbelievably. And like that's the thing that sets you out now. It's the work that you put in. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And they work hard. It's like. I wouldn't like to jeopardise or even put the pressure on someone to say, oh, like, he's going to be it, you know what I mean? But from what I can see in terms of online presence and reach, do you know what I mean? It's like Tom Rogan, Crawlers, you know, the sway are building steadily, you know what I mean? They're selling out the gigs and they're moving up the venue chain. Yeah. And like, I'd love to see the sway one day doing what I'm doing, headline in the arena, and you know, I hope they do, and by all means they could. Do you know what I mean? They certainly got what it takes to do it. But it's just about profile. It's about like, do you know what I mean? That bit of luck. You know what I mean? And that jump between doing Montford Hall and doing the arena, it's 8,000 people. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So you've got to have them big moments. Do you know what I mean? So like, you have to see what, like, you know, there's not many artists in Liverpool releasing albums. Maybe Red Rum Club could get there actually, because they do it. They've done. No, I didn't mean to discourage them, because I already see Red Rum Club as like a fully established band, because they're on my record label and like they've been gigging as long as I have, well longer than I have, and they're doing albums like regularly and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely Red Rum Club could do it. You know what I mean? Like in a couple of years' time, what they're doing, the 2 Olympia shows, and you know, I'm sure if they sell out, they might announce a third. Yeah. And that will give you some sort of database to say whether you can or can't do it, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm sure they could. They're definitely a band that could entertain the arena, put it that way, do you know what I mean? With the sound. I've seen them live a few times. Yeah, with the sound, they've got the fucking great live band, great lads. I'd love to see them do it as well. But, you know, besides them, there's no one, like, obviously Zuzu releases albums and stuff like that, but there's no one really releases proper albums, like, you know, like, I'm not saying it's their fault, maybe they haven't got deals, you know what I mean? But, like, I think, like, if you want to be a stadium band or an arena band, You know what I mean? Even just once, you've got to have a decent body of work out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it can't be singles here and there. It's got to be, you know, you need an album. You need that campaign under your belt. You need that reach where you've had a bit of chart success and people from around the country just take note anyway. And people in your city take note because you're doing well. Do you know what I mean? That's what's happened with me a lot now. You know, when we first spoke, it was like, are you going to cross over, particularly in the city? Have you found it in the city between Everton fans and Liverpool fans? But now, because like the album's done so well and like, you know, the success was there with it, like, you know, I found so many more blues listening to me now. Do you know what I mean? Because like all their mates do, because it became like, and it's become a thing where it's like, oh yeah, the Scousers will listen to Jamie Webster and like, you know, he's fucking smashing it, so we get behind him and all that shit. Like, it takes them moments, it takes that sort of transition period where people just, even if they, like, they've never listened to you before, they're gonna listen to you because everyone else is. Do you know what I mean? You need that sort of movement where like everyone's just saying your name and everyone's intrigued to even if they don't like you after they listen, they'll listen. Do you know what I mean? Getting people to listen is the hardest thing in today's industry. Do you know what I mean? Especially for indie bands and unsigned bands. It's fucking hard. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, attention span of people's so little now and everything. So yeah, it's I'd love to see all the bands in the city go on to do what I do, and hopefully like what bands like, well, what artists like myself are doing and what Red Drum Club are doing and what other, you know, like people like Zuzu are doing, where they're making moves and they're like opening the Liverpool scene up to the world.
Like,
that's
I
what
definitely think myself, like there's something special at the minute. Like I reckon the next like 5 years there'll be like a lot come from.
Everyone gets on as well.
Yeah.
There's fucking great bands. Look, you've got like, you know, even like obviously we're talking about the Sway Rainmaker, but then you've got Red Drum Club, and you've got bands like Rats, do you know what I mean, doing really well. They're going to be bringing out an album soon, I'd imagine, because they signed a deal. So maybe Rats actually, they seem like the type of band who could, because of Joe, because he's very likeable, proper Scouser. You know, he's a character, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? I think Joe could really conjure up a moment which made the music world stop and look at them for a bit. You know what I mean? And like give them that. Yeah. And they've got good people behind them. I know the likes of Mikey and that who look after them, who sign them. They're fucking top fellas who really give a shit. You know what I mean? So they're bands like Rats. Sorry to, you know, if Joe or anyone does end up watching, I wouldn't like him to think that I just discounted him, because he's a very talented lad, and I think he's definitely got, you know, what it takes personality wise as well as talent to really break the ceilings. But you know, you've got Rats, you've got, you know, Stoner doing really great things now. You've got another band who've been signed to our label called Bright Town, fucking in terms of technical ability. Yeah,
we've seen them support Mick at the
I was at that gig. Did I see you there? Yeah. I did actually, but that was the first time I seen him. Obviously Jay from Bright Town come out to America with me to play guitar, because Danny was my normal guitarist, was playing with the Coral, and is still on this tour this month. But like they're like, in terms of pound for pound musical ability, they're better than anyone at the minute. You know, like they're all like fucking incredibly good musicians. They all play 2 or 3 musicians. They all sing. Every one of them sings well. The harmonies are fucking mind blowing when they come out. I seen them in the Angus the other week, just doing like their acoustic gig. It was fucking one of the most enjoyable nights of music I've had in a long time. These bands, you know, you've got like, these are all making noise. You've got like Mason Owens, do you know what I mean, doing some great stuff in the city. Obviously Sway Rainmaker. There's another band I heard of called Woo or something like that. Is that right?
Yeah,
and they support
the sport and the Sway Arts Club.
I've heard they're doing good things. I haven't actually checked them out, but I've heard they're doing good things. You've got Crawlers, you've got the Night Cafe. They're doing boss things at the minute, and I actually like their stuff. You've got bands like the Cheap Thrills. There's, you know, Casino, who used to be the Sunday. They're all fucking brilliant. They're brilliant bands, do you know what I mean? And like, if people, half of it's an anti-Scouse thing where people, I think, like, not anti-Scouse, but you know what it's like, fucking Scousers, do you know what I mean? We're not like, genuinely. I can testify to that, you know what I mean? And it's a bit of that, you know what I mean? Like, no one really wants to come and give Liverpool a chance, or like, well, the problem is with us, when we get a bit of success, we let everyone fucking know about it, don't we? Rightly so, but they don't like hearing it, you know what I mean? But there's so many bands in this city, like Stone as well, who are doing really good things at the minute. You know, there's so many who are just fucking great musicians and great players with all this talent, great songs, great craftsmanship, but you know what you need is that bit of luck, and you need people to listen to you.
Yeah.
And like, I wish I could do more, you know, to get these bands fucking heard. But like, you know, you can
know
only,
what you do though, because you have them on support.
yeah, but that's what I was going to say.
That.
That's the only thing you can do. You can give so many of them a support slot, and you can try and share it out. But you know, it's fucking half an hour at the start of the night or whatever. Like, that's why I always urge people to come and watch the support artists. Because, like I said at the start, I watched the Snuts as a support artist once.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And now I'm supporting them in Brixton Academy. Do you know what I mean? So you never know where bands are gonna be. You know, in a couple of years' time, it only takes that one moment to fucking profile them into a new light.
Do you know what would be a boss venue to see you at after the Echo? Maybe like the next step up after that. Do you know the Waterfront?
Yeah, I thought you were going to say Anfield then.
Nah. Nah, but we seen Camel Fat there, and I think that's about 12k or something like that. Like,
it's quite a good venue, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a boss venue.
To be fair, I think like, well, Vondy, the promoter's already spoke about doing an outdoor gig, you know, following it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's also the races as well. 80 races.
That'd be sick.
Or Sefton Park.
Sefton Park. There's all sorts of stuff that we could do, you know what I mean? Let's see how the arena prevails. I'm sure it'll be great. You know what I mean? I'm fucking nervous already for it, you know what I mean? But we'll see how it goes, and you know, whatever follows. But I'm sure that, like, you know, as far as Liverpool's concerned, like, you know, I'm sure I'll be entertaining the city of Liverpool in a big way for at least the next 5 years. Do you know what I mean? And there's gonna be more music to come with it as well.
Yeah. How often do you like sit back and reflect, like with me? Really? Yeah. Do you never like sit there, like scroll, like?
Doesn't do you any favours, lad.
Really?
It just gives you the big head.
Yeah.
It does, lad. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, like, I appreciate what I've done. It's, you know, I've got me fucking me gold discs and me plaques in my house that I walk past every day that remind me of what I've done. It's boss, yeah, it's great. And I've got, you know, I've got the pictures, I've got the video footage on YouTube. I can see it anytime I want, but I don't want to see it because, like, I'm an ambitious kid. You know what I mean? I want to do bigger and better things all the time. So, like, if I'm sat there looking at the fucking, you know, the Olympia shows or the Madrid gig or whatever it is, and just going to myself like, oh, isn't that fucking great? Oh, aren't I great? Do you know what I mean? Like, you start like,
tell you what's supposed to have that drive, you know.
But it's like always about what's next. Do you know what I mean? Like, fucking, you know, like, you know, you're only as good as your last gig, as far as I'm concerned. And like, you know, as good as your last single or album, and you know, you want to better yourself all the time. So, like, for me to just sit and bask in what I've done already, you're sort of getting consumed in it, and you're not taking in the new things that you need to take you any further. I honestly, like, I'm not a modest person, do you know what I mean? I might have fucking 5 or 10 minutes after the gig with the band and with me mum and dad and say, oh, I was really enjoyed that, it was great. Do you know what I mean? Crowd with boss. Then me focusing on the next gig, do you know what I mean? And the next move, the next, you know, I'm probably unhealthy with it, to be fair, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm constantly, like, thinking, driven, emails, texts, do you know what I mean? Like, 24/7 it is, do you know what I mean? And like, fucking hell, you lose sleep, you don't eat, you lose weight, you put weight on, you fucking, you know, it's a battle of the mind, do you know what I mean? Like, being a solo artist, especially in today's game. But the only way, like I've said throughout this podcast, and like I say throughout anything that I do, the only way to do better is to work hard. And you're not working hard if you're sitting back and looking what you've already done. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? If you're fair enough, if you're looking at your mistakes, then yeah. You know, I might look back at a gig and say, where did I go wrong? But I wouldn't look back at a gig to go, oh, how good was that? You know what I mean? Yeah. If I write a song and record it, I'll listen to it for a week. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. A brand new song, once I get it back and I'm like, yeah, I'm happy with this. But I'm not listening to it because I'm happy with it. I'm listening to it to make sure that I'm happy with it. Do you know what I mean? To make sure that it can't be improved, that it can't be. And then that's it. That's it done. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's what keeps you grounded as well. At the end of the day, like, what people say about me is that, you know, what I've been branded as, you know, people's power man, one of us, you know, proper scouser, down to earth lad, normal lad, doing well. Do you know what I mean? You don't get that by being a knobhead. Do you know what I mean? You get that by staying grounded and staying true to who you are and who you've always been. And if you sat there looking at, no matter who you are, or how good of team you've got around you, how close friends, you know what I mean, whatever. If you sit there looking at yourself all day, every day, what you've done, admiring, you're going to get a fucking ego and you're going to lose touch with what's real and what's right, do you know what I mean? And that is like the last thing I'd ever like to be branded, do you know what I mean? Like, especially in my own city, like, I'd hate for people to think, oh, he's sold out, or he's fucking, you know, he's fucking changed him, you know what I mean? He's a knobhead now, do you know what I mean? He's saying no Gallagher, he's got no Gallagher on us, do you know what I mean? Wouldn't want none of that, like, you know what I mean? No, I fucking love no guy, I still think he's funny, do you know what I mean? He's come out and said a few things I don't agree with, but by and large, I think he's a funny fella. Yeah. But, it's not for me, lads, just always, like yourselves, you know what I mean? Like, when you've done a podcast, you sit there and watch the podcast days and days after it's been released saying, fucking I was dead funny there with that joke, wasn't I? Or you don't, do you? No. You might look at it and go, fucking hell. Fucking hell. I'm cringed there, do you know what I mean? I'm not doing that again. You might look at it to learn from it. You wouldn't look at it and go,
that's why I do 100 times, like watch back and cringe at myself.
Cringe because you want to be better, do you know what I mean? But not because you're thinking I'm fucking great, I should be on the BBC, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's not, you know, I should be the next Jeremy Paxton or whatever, do you know what I mean? It's like, do you know what I mean? It's you'll get there by working hard and by doing it and by improving and like looking to better yourself, not look to sit on what you've already done, you know what I mean? And like I say, it's all hard work, and that's how it's got to be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to wrap it up there because I don't know if the cameras are going to.
How long have we got left on the cameras?
Going for 2 hours and 5 minutes.
That's because of all them breaks.
I've only got I've got 2 questions left. Do you reckon we have time to ask them, Blake?
You ask me them dead quick, I'll give you spitfire answers.
We started asking your top 5 favourite songs by Liverpool artists.
By Liverpool artists.
Not including yourself.
No, that's been easy. Live the Dream by Cast. Fucking hell, Valerie by Zootons, Pure by the Lightning Seeds. Fuck. I'm probably missing people out here. I Ran by Flock of Seagulls. You To Me Are Everything by The Real People.
And also, I know we asked you the favourite pint last time, but
what was the answer last time?
I don't drink anymore, you know. I haven't drank for 18 months.
What was your answer last time?
Star of Primal. I think it was. No, it wasn't. I couldn't think of it. I said something else, but
you might have said Peroni.
You might have said Peroni just for the sake of it, but I don't drink no more, lad.
Well, fair play.
So, lad, I couldn't even tell you. Do you know what I mean? Glass though I will, but I won't be looking at what I'm drinking. I'll just be drinking it, you know what I mean? It's one of them things. It's personal choice now. But not something that I had to do, just something I wanted to do. But you know, I'll tell you my favourite ecstasy tablet next time. No, I'm only messing. I wish I could help you out with that, lad. But being a 10th pice, Cherry Capri Suns, fucking boss.
Right. And on that note, we'll leave it there. Thanks very much.
Nice one.
And we hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.